Did you know that using a credit card could actually save you money? In today's video, we'll be looking at the differences between debit and credit cards, and by the end of this video, you'll know why it's more advantageous for you to use a credit card for your daily purchases. So let's get into it. First of all, let's talk credit. Since debit cards aren't based on credit, they won't help you build your credit when you use them. With a debit card, you aren't borrowing the bank's money for your purchases. Instead, you're using your own money directly from your checking account. And while this might sound good for people trying to stay on budget, it won't help you improve your credit score since your activity isn't reported to the credit bureaus and nothing shows up on your credit report. On the other hand, when you swipe your credit card, your activity gets reported to the credit bureaus and goes on your credit report. If you pay on time and in full each month, it will help you get a better credit score. Having a solid history of on-time payments will show banks that you're capable of managing more credit or taking out loans in the future. You should start building credit as early as possible so that by the time you're ready to buy that new car or new house, you have a solid credit history to help you get the best rates and save money on interest. To see what this looks like, let's say you're going to buy a house and apply for a typical 30-year fixed mortgage for a $500,000 loan. A 700 credit score might get you 5% interest on that loan. But if you have a 750, you could qualify for, let's say, 4%. Over 30 years, at 5% interest, you'll have paid approximately $466,000. Whereas 4%, that would be $360,000. That's a $106,000 difference. Of course, this is a very simplified scenario, but you get the point. For more info on credit scores, check out my video up here and down in the description. Next up is my favorite thing to talk about when it comes to credit cards, rewards. Because if you're already spending money, you might as well get something back. Now, there are some debit cards out there that offer rewards too, like Discover's cashback debit checking account, for example, but they're few and far between. On the flip side, the rewards you can earn using credit cards by comparison are huge. Whether you're shopping for groceries, filling up your gas tank, or dining out, you can not only get cash back, but also points or miles you can redeem for things like gift cards and travel. This is how I travel for free multiple times a year. If you have a credit card that gives you points from everyday spending, like groceries and eating out, just use that card daily to accumulate points. For example, one of my favorite travel cards, the Chase Sapphire Preferred, gets you 3x points on dining and 2 to 5x points on travel-related expenses. Plus, if you redeem your points through the Chase Ultimate Rewards portal, they're worth 25% more for anything travel. You could also transfer them to one of Chase's airline or hotel partners for greater value. Either way, you can cover flights, hotels, rental cars, and other travel costs with your points without spending any money out of pocket. Your credit cards also offer more protection than your debit cards. I know this sounds weird since you're borrowing the bank's money. Why would they want to protect you? But hear me out. Look for credit cards that give you protections on purchases, fraud, and travel. Under the Fair Credit Billing Act, you can refuse to pay for any products or services you didn't get or defective if you pay with a credit card. You typically have 90 to 120 days from the purchase date to file a claim with a credit card issuer to repair, replace, or reimburse said item, depending on their terms and conditions. In most cases, banks regard errors by merchants as a billing dispute, not fraud. So if you pay with your debit card, you may be on your own to get it resolved. A lot of credit cards offer zero liability protection, which means you won't be held responsible for unauthorized charges made with your card or account information. If you see any unauthorized charges, simply call the bank, and most of the time, they'll credit your account. With a debit card, once that money leaves your checking account, most banks will either take a while to reimburse you or not at all. If you're a frequent traveler, you've probably had experiences with lost luggage, missed flights, or canceled or delayed flights that weren't your fault. If you book your trip with a debit card, it's up to you to deal with most of those interruptions. But if you use a credit card with travel protection insurance, there's a good chance you'll be covered. Some cards can come in super clutch in worst case scenarios where you might be at fault too. For example, rental car coverage can help you avoid paying extra for a policy or dealing with the hassle of using your own insurance. And if you have the Chase Sapphire Reserve like I do, you have access to emergency evacuation transportation. So if you trip and fall at the Grand Canyon and you need an airlift, you're covered up to $100,000. And the last reason you should use credit cards is when you need quick money in case of emergencies. Let's face it, emergencies happen, and most of the time, they'll be out of your control. A debit card won't help you if you don't already have the money in your bank to cover emergency costs, where credit cards can buy you some time in a pinch. But only use credit as a last resort. Remember, the bank's lending you money with the expectation that you'll pay it back, so make sure you have a plan in place. And a part of that plan should be having an emergency fund. So, credit cards can be an amazing financial tool in your wallet. You can build credit and earn rewards you otherwise leave on the table, but only if you can control the urge to overspend when you use them. The last thing I want is for you to get stuck with a huge balance and monthly interest fees that could take months or years to pay off. If you got some value out of this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this. I make content about personal and small business finance and financial news, and my goal is to take concepts that might sound complicated and make them relatable and easy to understand. Thanks for your time, rack up those rewards, and I'll see you in the next one.